everyone, and welcome back to the Cabral Concept. I'm Stephen Cabral, board-certified naturopathic doctor, and today what I want to do is I want to talk with you about why you get headaches and then what you can do about them when you do get them right at that moment, or how to prevent them in the future. That's the ideal thing. The ideal thing is that you just never get a headache again. Now, that might be wishful thinking. We all get headaches every once in a while from a variety of reasons, which I'm going to talk about right now, but the goal is maybe get one headache a year. That's it. And that I think for most people would be life-changing, because I know how many people deal with tension-based headaches or sinus-based headaches, and we're going to talk about those right now. So headaches can present themselves in a bunch of different ways, a myriad of different ways, depending on what the actual cause of the headache is. So let's go through the top 10 reasons right now of why most people get headaches. And the first one, plain and simple, is tension and stress. So any type of stress or tension which constricts those blood vessels, constricts the arteries, and constricts maybe the blood flow to and around the head itself, can cause a tension or stress-based headache. Now, those headaches can come anywhere. You can feel them kind of behind the eyes. That's sometimes from eye strain. That is a form of stress, staring at a computer screen, but it can be in the side of the head. And that's obviously very, very painful. So we're looking right there at something. Again, what I like to say is, when do you get those tension and stress-based headaches? So I ask people, try to think about it. Is it mid-afternoon? Is it on Mondays? Do you ever get them on the weekends when you're more relaxed? Because when you start to do that, you start to get a better handle on what your triggers are. And that's what we're really talking about today. What are those triggers that for you cause a headache? Now, for some people, it's this number 2 thing called allergies, environmental allergies. Right now, especially in New England, we're dealing with a very high pollen-based allergy season. Now, just a few years back, allergies were my last thing to get rid of. They really were. And it was a challenge. But I've had them and did remember having them since I was 6 years old. Did the allergy shots. I did everything. So I've talked about how I've cured my allergies, but really environmental allergies, grass, mold, dust, pollen, those things. And when they start to get really kicked up in the environment in the springtime and for fall, for a lot of other people with hay fever and all of that, it's a really tough time. My eyes used to literally get bright red. They felt like paper cuts, and they would be swollen shut. It was absolutely brutal. Some really bad moments there because I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go anywhere. They were bad even in the house, but I would have to take weeks off from work. That's not an exaggeration. They were that bad. So myself, I was having a massive histamine-based reaction that even, I can remember my 20s trying to take 50 milligrams, 2 Benadryl every 3 hours, which literally should be like a tranquilizer for a horse. Not only would it not put me down, but it didn't even really touch my allergies. That's how I eventually discovered, when I got into this, whole naturopathic natural health thing, that it wasn't just directly histamine based. It was other issues like for my gut specifically and inflammation in general. So that brings me to my next point, which is also food allergies and the foods that cause a histamine based reaction. So your headaches can also be food allergy related. And we know that an IgE reaction, meaning that if you have like lobster or shellfish or shrimp or something like that, and you get a reaction, it could be an immediate headache, or it could be a headache within a half hour or an hour. Now, same thing goes with histamines. Not a lot of people do well with like smoked food or fermented food or leftovers or different types of spices like cinnamon. Those histamines, because they're already running high on histamines in the first place, their mast cells are overproducing cytokines and other inflammatory processes. And that then is leading to vasoconstriction, which is constriction of the arteries. That's then leading to the systemic constriction, which is leading to a headache. Now, again, if you're never looking for the root cause because you're simply using Advil, ibuprofen, Tylenol, which only makes the gut worse, which is my number 4, it makes it worse in the long run. You're never treating the root cause. So gut issues like leaky gut, huge problem for headaches. Why? Because every time you eat, you are literally spilling proteins and other things as well, but it's mainly proteins that our immune system, like our IgG immune cells, so our immunoglobulin G and our IgA and IgM and IgE, all those immune cells eventually attack whatever's coming into our bloodstream. causing inflammation, which in some susceptible people can cause a headache, and it can actually cause a migraine. Histamines, the same exact thing. Histamines are often created, or they can't be squelched. I mean, like, we all produce histamines. That's normal. We need that, actually. We need that for anti-cancer prevention. But some people, because of gut issues, don't regulate histamines as well because their body's not producing that enzyme that I've spoken about before called diamine oxidase. And until you get your gut functioning well, properly balanced, you're not going to be able to make as much of that enzyme as you need, which means your histamine, which might be normal, continues, though, to proliferate because you're not able to degrade it within a certain period of time like most people do. All right, what's the fifth one? The fifth one is dehydration. I can't even begin to tell you how much water or how little water people drink. And here's why. People might have a glass of water with dinner, sometimes not. Sometimes it's just alcohol. Okay, well, that's going to dehydrate you. Then there's no real water for the rest of the night. Okay, so 7 o'clock on, let's say, 6 o'clock on. And then they wake up in the morning and they don't have water. What they have is coffee. So then when do they have their first water? Maybe mid-morning, lunchtime? You've just gone 14 hours without any water. Where are your cells getting hydration from? They're not. And cellular hydration and brain dehydration can lead to headaches without a doubt. Like that's pretty clear because your body's about 2/3 water. And when you have an entity, an organism, where the majority of their being is water and they're getting dehydrated, that causes pain. Pain in the joints, pain in the muscles, fibromyalgia, headaches. Dehydration is a big, big factor. If you don't like to drink water, that's okay. Do some herbal-based tea, maybe some ginger tea. Ideally, we do want straight water, but maybe squeeze some lime in there. Pinch of sea salt, maybe a little bit of lemon. Crush up some raspberries, or do something, but get some water into your body. And that's very, very important. Okay, dehydration. We're going to talk about more fixes in a little bit more depth in just a moment. What about mineral imbalances? Not a lot of people talk about why elevated levels of copper, elevated levels of calcium can cause headaches. And that's because, copper aside, when you have a elevated level of calcium, again, you're constricting arteries. You're more in the fight or flight. And that can cause, again, tension, stress, headache. All right, blood sugar levels. This is a big one. I've dealt with this for many, many years. Used to get a headache every afternoon, literally every afternoon during my school days. Part of it was eye strain, part of it was stress, but really couldn't really balance my blood sugar. And that was a big, big issue. I ate too much processed food, not enough protein to keep things stable, not enough fiber to keep things stable. It was mostly processed food. That's what I liked. That's what I ate. And that's what I got from it. One thing I didn't mention, but it just popped into my mind, so we do have to mention it, is food dyes. I ate a lot of processed food. I drank a lot of Kool-Aid, and it had food dyes in it. That in itself can lead to headaches as well. But what happens is when we go too low in blood sugar, we get a headache, without a doubt. That's a big, big one to look at. All right. A lot of women, some men, but a lot of women have to deal with estrogen dominance. That means because of stress, because of lowered progesterone, because of environmental plastics and PCBs and dioxanes and other things like that, that their levels of estrogen increase within the body. When you gain body weight, especially body fat, that increases estrogen levels. What happens is headaches can become more dominant. They can become stronger and stronger, especially 5 to 7 days before day one of a woman's cycle. That's a prime time for getting headaches when progesterone levels aren't as high as they should be and estrogen levels become dominant. That's a really important thing to look for. And again, you can test for that. You can use a saliva test, hormone and adrenal test, and it will show you that. You want to test day 21, day 22, or day 23 of your cycle for best results. Men can simply test on that day when, or the day after that, they're feeling that type of tension, stress, headache. Okay, number 9, biomechanical let's just talk about it. It's biomechanical, which means that your body is not in proper alignment. This is something to consider. So if you're staring at a computer screen all day, or if you're commuting in your car and your chin is forward, meaning if your chin is past, if your ears are not over your shoulders, that's the best way to look at it. I spoke about this, I think just last week on a house call. It's popping into my mind. I believe that I did. What happens is, think about it like this. Think about holding a phone book. Like, I don't even know if anybody even has a Yellow Pages book anymore. But if you hold that big phone book out with an extended arm, think about the tension that causes all the way up the arm and into the neck. How long could you hold that phone book there? maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes maximum, and you start to feel the tension through the whole body. Well, think about it. On a smaller degree, you have this 8-pound object named your head sticking out in front of you that's also causing tension on the trapezius muscles, the levator scapulae. It's causing the SCM muscles, they're called sternocleidomastoid mastoid muscles in the front of the neck. Those start to contract and get tighter, which means even when you're not in that position, it keeps you pulled forward. Your shoulders start to round forward. That's called kyphosis or kyphotic posture. All of those things can lead to different imbalances within tension in the neck, which can lead to a headache. It can lead to decreased blood flow in the neck. It's called the trigeminal area, right behind basically where the ear and neck meet. That can cause all sorts of things like migraines or brain fog or tension. So something to look at, and you can certainly work on your posture, stretch your chest, stretch the front of your neck, do exercises to strengthen your scapular, basically the muscles behind your shoulders. Really, really important. You can see a chiropractor is not just going to adjust you, but someone that also looks at biomechanical deviations, it's called, as well as your posture. Any of those subluxations of the spine, they'll look for that. They'll do maybe some active release. They'll help you stretch open those tight pectoral muscles, your chest muscles. All right, number 10. This is a sneaky one. But again, I find out about most of these things the hard way. But at least I get to share them with you years later. So pharmaceuticals. I used to take antihistamines every single day. I took Sudafed every single day from the ages of about, let's say, 12 until 25. And I had no idea. No one ever told me. All I thought I was doing was keeping my allergies at bay. Little did I know they were destroying my gut function. They were destroying my immune system. And they are vasoconstrictors. They're essentially almost like Sudafed and Nasacort, these nasal sprays. They're like legalized speed. They're literally pushing your norepinephrine levels, and again, they work. I'm not saying they don't, but is it healthy for you? Well, that's debatable. I don't think so, because in the long run, you're doing far more harm than good to your adrenal glands, to your stress levels, your HPA axis, your hormones, your blood sugar, all of that. And so what happens is pharmaceuticals can actually cause headaches, and you have to be careful, because I know a lot of those asthma, allergy, ADD, ADHD meds can cause tension headaches. So now that we talked about how all of these things around us, and you can just pick the ones that you think might be causing you the most issue. Well, now what can we do about it? Let's try to come up with some type of action plan. I really like that what we get to do here in just about 15 minutes or so per show is try to give you an action plan, something that you can get started on. So here's a few things. Now, when you're in the moment, I want to give you a couple things to do. When you're in the moments, you can use, if you're home or if you have a migraine, what's called a hot-cold pack, okay? So you're going to actually put a cold pack under your neck. You're going to lie down and put one over your eyes. This is especially when you have a migraine. And then you're going to put a hot pack on your feet. That's going to try to bring the blood away from your head and bring it down towards your feet. Keep your eyes closed. This helps tremendously for a lot of people with migraines. Hot, cold pack, hot, cold contrast, people call it. Now, a few essential oils that can help pretty quickly is lavender oil. That's one that I've used many times. I use it for sleep. I use it for relaxation. When my two daughters are, really amped up at night, don't want to go to sleep, we make sure that we pull out some of that lavender spray. I've mentioned it many times on the Cabral Concept, and we spray it in the room. We'll spray a little bit on the mattress, and we'll get everything calming down a little bit. We'll turn down the lights. We just try to set that mood for a calming type environment. Magnesium. Magnesium is tremendous when you have a headache or a migraine. It could be the mineral you're missing to calm sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, stress, and it's very easy to get in your body. Typically, what I'm recommending for magnesium is that most people, you use a highly absorbable form, something like magnesium glycinate. You can just start, it's very, very simple for adults. 1 cap at each meal. It's just 120 milligrams. Could you go to 2 caps? Absolutely. But it is also a little bit of a sedative. So you do want to be careful earlier in the day if you're someone that has to deal with some type of fatigue-based issues. You'll just want to maybe not use it at breakfast, start to use it a little bit more maybe at lunch, or just you'll backload your day with it more at dinner. Then you can also use magnesium citrate before bed. If you're someone that's dealing with insomnia-based issues, that might be just a great place to start. 2 heaping teaspoons, about 200 to 300 milligrams of magnesium citrate mixed up in some hot water or just some warm water. Sip on that about about a half hour before bed. Okay, what I like to call this next one, I like to call it stimulation deprivation. So what you need to do here, and this works great when you do have a headache, is to somehow calm all of your senses. Now, one of the best ways to do that is put on a little eye mask or close your eyes at least, put your hands on your belly, work on belly breathing, put in earplugs if you can, and what you're trying to do is just or put on noise-canceling headphones. That works great. And all you're trying to do, you can't see anything, you can't hear anything, you're seated. All you're doing is focused on your breath. You're breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Yes, it is meditation. It's like meditation, but all you're doing is trying to calm your senses. You can't see anything, you can't hear anything, no one's there to bother you, and you're just taking a little time to relax. You can also do that along with the hot-cold pack. You can also do that with taking the magnesium before you do the hot cold pack, and you can use the lavender oil. That's kind of like the big whammy right there if you're ever dealing with a really bad headache. That will work typically fantastic for most people. Let's go with a couple more. So a light headache, you can actually go for a nice walk. Put the phone away. No staring at bright screens anymore because that can cause a headache in and of itself or tension in the head. Walk and breathe. It's my walking meditation. I do it every day at lunch. Really helps to just calm and relax the body. What can we do about that blood sugar? We talked about blood sugar earlier. Well, one of the big things is we can eat a more balanced meal. That will certainly help. Yes, you can eat carbohydrates. Yes, you can eat fat. And yes, you can eat protein. And they work well together. So get a couple cups of vegetables at each meal. That's plenty of fiber. It's going to be very satiating. Get some type of protein, vegan, vegetarian, or paleo-based. Your choice. Don't eat too much of it. And eat some fat. Not too much fat, but some fat. You can have half of an avocado. You can have a couple tablespoons of olive oil. You can use coconut oil if that works well for your body type. You might try ghee if you choose that you would like to use some ghee. And that's going to keep things nice and balanced. Before I get to just 2 lab tests, what I want to say is hydrate. You absolutely have to get more water. If you can do one thing in life, it's wake up, have a little glass of water, room temperature, or do some lemon water in it, or use the greens putter that I talk about, the daily fruit and vegetable blend. Do something. Hydrate your body. Then do a smoothie in the morning. Even if you want to eat breakfast, do the smoothie with it. You can just use less fruit. You can just do 1 cup of fruit, 1 cup of berries, 1 cup of blueberries. Wild blueberries, basically all skin, high antioxidant, such a great benefit. Throw in the all-in-one powder. Put something in there. Get your body balanced. Really, really important. Plus, you're going to use 2 to 3 cups of water in that, or half almond or coconut milk or Brazil milk or macadamia nut milk, whatever milk you want, not cow's milk. And then you can mix your protein. You get everything in that. But that is water. That's hydration. That absolutely does count. That's a great way to hydrate. And just remember, overall for the day, about half your body weight in ounces of water per day. If you weigh 160 pounds, that takes you down to 80 ounces of water per day. You divide that by 8-ounce glasses and you get 10 glasses per day. The ginger tea and water counts, the water with lemon counts, the smoothie counts, that counts. So you can count those. So hopefully that helped. And then let's say you want to go deeper, that you did those and there's still some issues. Well, we can look at a cortisol and hormone-based test. Absolutely, we can look at that. That measures estrogen as well. It's a saliva-based test. I'll link it up in today's show notes. You can simply go to stephencabral.com/445. I would also recommend an organic acids test. That will tell you if you do have bacterial overgrowth, candida overgrowth, and leaky gut. Like that shows you, do you have bacteria and candida or yeast leaking through your intestines into your blood, showing up in your urine? That's pretty straightforward. And then also, if you choose to, you can say, well, mine might be a hidden food sensitivity, a hidden food allergy, or you can do a food allergy test. And that food allergy test is just a simple blood poke, very, very simple. These are all saliva or it's hair. You can do a hair tissue mineral analysis for your levels of calcium and magnesium. And they're all at-home lab tests. These are simple things to do. The more data that you can get for yourself, the more you know what you need to fix. But remember, a headache is not a disease. A headache is an outward symptom of something wrong on the inside. Your body is telling you, please listen, something is wrong. We're showing you, you have pain. You have a headache. If you listen to this pain and you do not mask it all of the time, I don't want you to suffer with pain. I'm not saying that. Get rid of the headache. We just gave you some good ways. but work on it so that you don't keep getting these pains in your head, literally in the future. And remember, once you find out what those underlying causes are, and there's only so many, I just named 10. Those are the 10 main things. Remember, it's not 100, it's 10. You start to narrow down that list. When you narrow down that list, you're going to ultimately figure out what's causing the headaches, what's causing the tension, and for the most part, these things cause the muscle tension as well. So really look at that, start to dig deeper into your health. I'm telling you, you do that, you are going to be on the true path to health and wellness. Your body weight will regulate, your health will regulate, your happiness will regulate, because you can't fix just one thing. Remember, a healthy body can't be sick. A healthy body can't be anxious. It can't be depressed. It can't be any of those things. It's healthy. It's balanced. Yes, you live life. There are ebbs and flows, but you move out of it, and you move in and out of it very, very quickly. You're balanced. Remember, that's what it's all about. So thank you once again for tuning into another Cabral Concept. I certainly do appreciate each and every one of your listens. And if this show could help anyone, because remember, we all know someone out there with headaches and tension and stress, please do feel free to share this show with them. Take care, everyone. Thank you for just tuning into another Cabral Concept. As a valued listener, during the month of April, I'd like to send you one of the exclusive online personal training workout packages I've created for my private clients all around the world. They're literally the same travel and bodyweight workouts I create for celebrities, athletes, and executive CEOs to stay in shape, whether at home, in the gym, or on the road. Plus, I also want to ship you the same exact 5-piece resistance band set I send them as well. They're also the same bands I use at my home and when traveling. You cannot buy this online band workout package anywhere else. The home and travel band exercise set with the online workout is only available exclusively through the StephenCabral.com/store and is yours free of charge when you purchase any functional medicine lab test. You can choose from any of our popular food sensitivity tests, organic acid test, hair tissue mineral analysis, adrenal and hormone, thyroid, weight loss testing, vitamin D, inflammation, parasite, genetic testing, the toxicity test, and many more. We mail all labs to you in the US, Canada, and the UK, and each one of these labs can be done right at home with a simple urine, hair, stool, finger poke, or saliva sample. You'll get your results in just a few weeks after mailing in your at-home lab test, and we even provide a complimentary health coaching phone consultation with most lab kit packages. To put functional medicine to work for you and find the underlying root causes keeping you from total body health and wellness, I can't recommend lab testing enough. Plus, as a bonus this month, you'll be getting my resistance band package with the online workout to do right at home, at the gym, or when traveling. Just go to StephenCabral.com/store for details and to get yours today.